Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV. All eyes across the cattle country were locked in on Friday's USDA cattle inventory report, undoubtedly the single most important snapshot of the U.S. cow herd and a report that often sets the tone for the entire year. According to the USDA, all cattle and calves in the U.S. as of the first of the year was totaled at 86.2 million head, slightly below last year. But the real headline was one that matters to most of the cow-calf producers, and that was the continued contraction of the U.S. beef cow herd. Beef cows totaled 27.6 million head, down 1% from a year ago, and that all marks a seventh consecutive year of the decline and places a beef cow inventory at the lowest level since 1951. Many in the industry had expected those numbers to actually be at least stable. Instead, their report confirmed that the contraction is still very much the story. All calves and heifers, that is, or all cows and heifers, I should say, that have calved came in at 37.2 million head, slightly below last year as well. Meanwhile, the 2025 U.S. calf crop was estimated at 32.9 million head, which reinforces the expectations that feeder cattle supplies will remain tight well into the future. There was also a modest increase in the beef replacement heifers, up 1% from a year ago at 4.71 million head. However, analysts caution against reading too much into that number. A 1% increase equals roughly 41,000 head of additional heifers nationwide, and that is far too small to signal any significant herd expansion. In other words, producers may be holding on to a few more heifers, but the industry is not rebuilding yet. Cattle on feed inventories also declined. Now, as of January 1st, cattle on feed totaled 13.8 million head, down 3% from last year. That also signals fewer cattle on feed down the road and adds more fuel to that bullish supply story. Now, we need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to hear from one analyst and what this could mean for the U.S. cow herd and the U.S. cattle prices in 2026.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
DTN livestock analyst Shaylee Stewart says the cattle inventory report delivered no wild surprises, but confirmed what market needed to see: continued tightening of supplies. Now, while the milk cow numbers actually increased 2%, largely driven by that strong beef on dairy demand, the beef cow sector showed no such growth. So what does this mean for the cow-calf producers? At its core, the report is bullish. Fewer beef cows and a smaller calf crop and the declining cattle on feed all point toward that limited supply. When paired with resilient beef demand, that is, I should say, that creates a supportive price environment moving forward, which that also doesn't mean that the road's going to be smooth. Volatility, weather risk, and a broader economic pressures will still be part of the equation. However, the fundamentals remain clear that cattle numbers are tight, and that continues to work in the cow-calf producers' favor. Bottom line, this report confirms that the market's backbone remains strong, according to Shaylee Stewart. She says that supplies are thin, expansion herd hasn't started, and for producers who can manage risk, the outlook continues to shine. Of course, you can find all of these cattle inventory report numbers on our website and how the markets are reacting to it at northernag.net. Well, that's going to do it for today's Northern Ag TV. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.